Thank you, Senator Begich. Senator Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to compliment the President for making the selections of each of you. You're good choices by the President. These hearings not so much about getting you confirmed as it is about allowing us to understand what we can do to help you and what your challenges are. And I am completely okay and very much support the idea of civilian control of the military. I think that's essential. That's what's made America great for all these years. But politicians are accountable to the voters. The generals are accountable to their troops, to their chain of command, to the Congress. And I just want to make sure those of us who make decisions in politics that affect the war, that we're accountable. If it turns out well, we get the credit. If we've done some things to undermine the effort, then people will know us where the blame lies. So that's my view of what we're trying to do here in the next few months. Admiral McRaven, is Mullah Omar in Pakistan?
Sir, we believe he is.
Okay, so let's just stop for a second. We believe that the leader of the Taliban after the fall of the Russians, Mullah Omar, who invited bin Laden to come in to be the honored guest in Afghanistan, who empowered bin Laden to attack the country, is still in Pakistan. Do we believe he's there with the knowledge of the ISI and the upper echelons of the Army?
Sir, I believe that the Pakistanis know that he is in Pakistan, whether or not there is a...
Let me ask you this. If they tried for about a week, do you think they could find him?
Sir, I can't answer that question. I don't know whether they could or not, because I don't know exactly where Mullah Omar is.
Well, have we asked them to find him?
Sir, I believe we have.
Well, I'm asking. I think Senator Levin and I both will ask together today. We're asking the Pakistan government to help us find Mullah Omar, who's tried to destroy Afghanistan, who has formed an allegiance with al-Qaeda. And so along those lines, General Allen, are we certain that IEDs being used against American troops in Afghanistan and coalition forces in general are coming out of Pakistan?
Senator, I believe, yes, we are.
As a matter of fact, we know we have given the Pakistanis information about buildings where we can see these things being put together. Is that not true?
That's correct, sir.
And have they responded effectively?
They have not, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm with Chairman Levin on this. This has got to stop. Now let's talk about corruption. Have you read the article that's come out? I know you've been very busy about the Afghan central bank flees to the U.S. Central bank chief flees to the U.S. Are you familiar with that at all?
Sir, I've read many articles at this juncture about that issue. I don't recall that one specifically.
I would like to put this in the record, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
It will be made part of the record.
I am convinced. I've met with the gentleman when I was over there as Senator Graham, and I met with him extensively, and he went to the floor of the Afghan parliament and he started naming names about Kabul Bank, about who was involved in setting up this bank. The bank was used to pay Afghan government bills, depositing coalition currency as well as Afghan currency. And the IMF said called it the biggest abuse or ripoff of a bank they've ever seen. And for the IMF to say that, that's something, because they've seen a lot. So I want to associate myself with Senator Begich. I really do believe that they're trying to cover up, the Karzai government and other people in Afghanistan are trying to cover up the extent of the fraud and manipulation in this bank. So, General Allen, I would ask you to report back to us as soon as you can to the committee about your view of the Kabul Bank situation and how it affects our efforts to stop corruption.
I will, Senator.
Thank you. Now, let's talk about counterinsurgency. I've learned more about this than I ever thought I would know as a military lawyer. I find the whole concept fascinating. Since December 2009 to now, I want, from my point of view, the country to know that I believe that General Petraeus and all under his command, General McRaven, all of your forces, have done a fantastic job of going from defense to offense, that the 33,000 surge forces have been used effectively, and that we have really put the enemy on the run in many places. My question, General Allen, if we withdraw the 33,000 by September of next year, will this still be a counterinsurgency operation? Does the math work out? Will there be enough people left behind next year to effectively do counterinsurgency?
I believe it will, Senator.
Okay, now walk me through that. If we needed 33,000, if 70,000 wasn't enough, and we had to add 33,000 to make this a counterinsurgency mission, next summer, how can we maintain counterinsurgency if all the surge forces have gone? Have we improved that much?
I think the surge forces, Senator, are a part of the overarching counterinsurgency mission.
Now, there were 40,000 requested. The President authorized 30. It's been my understanding that the strategy was to go into RC South, take the Taliban on, and next summer, 2012, reinvest some of those surge forces to RC East. Have we had enough people in RC East since December 2009 to have an effective counterinsurgency?
I believe that the RC East forces have been conducting an effective
counterinsurgency is a mathematical formula.
To some extent.
To some extent. Would you run the math and report back to the committee as to whether or not RC East has been adequately resourced to have an effective counterinsurgency program, and also report back to the committee, if you take the 33,000 troops out, what does that do to counterinsurgency operations going forward? Could you provide us with that information?
Certainly will, Senator.
Okay. Admiral McRaven, I can't thank you and those under your command enough for what you've been able to achieve, particularly with bin Laden. If you caught someone tomorrow in Yemen, Somalia, you name the theater, outside of Afghanistan, where would you detain that person?
Sir, right now, as you're well aware, that is always a difficult issue for us. When we conduct an operation outside the major theaters of war, Iraq or Afghanistan, we put forth, and again, I'll defer to my time as the JSOC commander, we put forth a concept of operation. The concept of operation goes up through the chain of command, military chain of command, and is eventually vetted through the interagency, and the decision by the President is made for us to conduct a particular operation. Always as part of that CONOP are options for detention. No two cases seem to be alike. As you know, there are certain individuals that are under the AUMF, the use of military force, and those are easier to deal with than folks that may not have been under the authority for AUMF. In many cases, we will put them on a naval vessel, and we will hold them until we can either get a case to prosecute them in a U.S. court, or...
Are we going to have a second round, Mr. Chairman?
Depending on how long the first round lasts and when that vote starts. But
okay, I would like to inquire into this in the second round, so I don't want to intrude.
Okay. Yeah, I do hope they'll have at least a few minutes each.
Okay. To be continued.
Yes, sir.
You could finish your answer, however, if you want.
Absolutely. So we put a guy on a ship.
Yes, sir.
All right.
The bottom line, Senator, is there are...
How long do we keep him on the ship?
Sir, there are a number of different options based on...
What's the longest we can keep somebody on the ship?
Sir, I think it depends on whether or not we think we can prosecute that individual in a U.S. court, or we can return him to a third-party country.
What if you can't do either one of those?
Sir, again, if we can't do either one of those, then we'll release that individual. Okay. I mean, that becomes the unenviable option, but it is an option.